I want to talk about just Jer 40 because I don't know if it's going to be a loss, but it's looking like a loss just because how price is pushing. Um, but I'm gonna hold. Of course, I'm not gonna bother to trade. But so in looking at Jer 40, right, and just understand that sometimes the market is just not gonna do what we expect it to do. But what I do know is that we're in a downtrending market, okay, and this range here, right? There's a sweep of that high, and then we have a sweep of a low right here. So here's the daily range. Now, and then we actually have this structural shift right here from a higher time frame perspective, which this high should definitely be protected, but I don't really see anything up here for price to deliver to, on the premium side. Okay, so on a 4 hour, right, and here's the only thing that I can think of why this could possibly be a loss is maybe prices was only trading to this fair value gap and this OB. But ultimately, I would expect them to be magnetized to here. Okay. Then what I'm seeing on the hour is this fractal form, short term, intermediate term, short term, and then even when this short term forms, we clear the low right here, right? This low led to this high. So even with us clearing that low, right, I'm expecting that price would then turn around because we have this here, right, and then we even have a bigger one here. Okay. And then here's a failure swing, and then price trades lower, right? So here's just a scenario where, the market's just doing something completely different. And I've noticed from Jer 40 that I don't always get, I don't know, I'm kind of new to it. But what I'm learning so far is I'm not really seeing the success from this particular asset. Or maybe I just haven't traded it long enough to really understand it in terms of time and things of that sort. But just to give you, my perspective, because we're trading into this higher time frame fair value gap, and price could take this high out and go lower, right? You have sell side sweep, buy side sweep, so we could still be protected here. But I would expect us to get here, and then here's a fair value gap, and possibly in trade lower, which we got here and we responded, but that was only like a trap. And then even over here, right, here's a kind of a breaker right here. Okay, so I'm not, I don't know, I'm not really. I guess I would need to see a little bit more to just gain greater insight on why price is wanting to push up. Now, if this high can hold, then it would make sense. This would just only be an internal range liquidity sweep, because at this point, this would be your dealing range high, and then this would be our at this point our dealing range low, right? So then we study what's inside of this point to this point, which here we had a fair value gap, but then here's the buy side liquidity. So maybe price was seeking buy side liquidity. I don't know. We'll see if it trades lower or if they actually stop me out. But just kind of wanted to give you guys that breakdown just to show you, things can happen. But in this scenario, in this situation, right, we've already seen this same scenario play out multiple times. You just have to keep trading, right? Keep trading. And then, of course, what we know is objective. So the game of probabilities will ultimately play out in your favor. If this does stop me out, one thing I do know is that we have equal lows below. So at some point, if this is a loss, and this is just how I think psychologically, one thing I do know is that we have equal lows, and these equal lows were not created just to be left in a downtrending market, right? We're in a downtrending market and we have equal lows. So at some point, price is going to come to this area. So in the back of my mind, if this turns into a loss, right, I know at some point it's going to be made up with this. So no reason to get in a frenzy. I just kind of wanted to break it down and kind of give you guys my perspective on it as of right now, right? But we'll keep watching it, and then we'll see what happens.